Turning now to an advertising trend and a social media story that probably came up on your news feeds recently, that Gillette ad that landed the company in some hot water. Jumping on the Me Too hashtag and subsequent movement to protect women from sexual harassment in the workplace, Gillette tweaked its longtime sales slogan, "The best a man can get," turning it into "the best that men can be." And then the company got beat up online for appropriating a social movement for the sake of its profits. That advertising technique has a name. It's called purpose marketing. It's a socio-political kind of brand messaging that adopts a purpose in order to sell a product. In the 21st century marketplace, traditional product-focused campaigns no longer get the clicks, the likes, the shares that advertisers crave. So more and more of them are latching onto causes. And Gillette's not the only brand to have an ad of this kind backfire. The Listening Post's Johanna Husnow on a marketing trend and the challenge of striking a balance between purpose and profit.
Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything.
Racial equality.
My beauty.
My beauty.
My beauty.
My say.
Female empowerment.
This is what happens when ice cream is just 2 degrees warmer than it should be.
The realities of climate change.
Bullying.
The Me Too movement against sexual harassment.
Masculinity.
For big brands, just selling a product is no longer enough.
Is this the best a man can get?
Advertising doesn't work like it used to, and getting people's attention is really difficult. Companies can't just talk about what they make anymore, because we've seen it before, and we're not paying attention. So what so many brands are doing is show up with conversations that we want to be part of, and if they can go along for the ride, that's the best route available to them.
We're experiencing a shift in generational values, and what that's leading to is younger people in particular looking to buy from and work for companies that are more conscientious, that consider the bigger picture. What young people can see is rising inequality, increased political polarizations, and because of this, there is a need for businesses to consider more than just profit.
Not something they've ever been particularly good at.
He said.
They said.
She said. I said. No way.
Which begs the question, the socio-political causes companies pick, the stances they take, do they amount to anything more than on-screen publicity stunts, strategically adopted to draw the clicks, the likes, the shares their businesses rely on? In the case of Pepsi, the answer seems to be no. In 2017, the company put out an ad appropriating the Black Lives Matter movement to sell its product. But it backfired and has since been held up as a prime example of how not to do purpose marketing. Because Pepsi attempted to challenge decades of police brutality and racial inequality with a can of soda and a supermodel, a white one.
So we have a serious issue here that's meaningful to people, and they belittled it by using one of the most wealthy women in the world as their spokesmodel. It makes it seem trite and certainly opportunistic. It didn't seem authentic. It seemed like just glomming onto a cause, and it really rang false for people who care about those issues.
At no point, I guess, have Pepsi ever intimated through their advertising or marketing that they're aligned with the Black Lives Matter movement. And because of that, the ad was seen as reductive, making a pop culture moment out of protest against police brutality.
We've seen one after another disastrous outcome of brands that try to, use fake purpose opportunistically to connect with consumers, and it backfires.
Pepsi is not the only brand trying to master the art of purpose marketing.
It's been going on far too long.
In January this year, razor brand Gillette, famous for its longtime slogan, "The best a man can get," switched up its catchphrase to ride the Me Too wave, releasing its "The Best Man Can Be" campaign, aimed at addressing toxic masculinity and hoping to sell a few razors in the process.
Because we believe in the best in men.
The ad caused a huge backlash, not least because Gillette's newfound moral compass is somewhat of a departure from the message the company has spread for decades.
To say the right thing, to act the right way.
So let's think about Gillette's history for a minute. They are one of the very first mass marketers.
The Gillette Cavalcade of Sports is on the air.
Gillette showed up in our living rooms uninvited for years and years at a time, promoting the idea that what a man is supposed to do is beat another man senseless. So if Gillette shows up today in a world where they can't buy our attention and seeks to earn it by putting a message into the world, yeah, you can be a cynic and say they're trying to manipulate us. But what I see is a heartfelt effort to say, let's think about this.
So I think the reason why there was such backlash to this is because it came off like Gillette was lecturing and tisk-tisking men for not being the right kind of father, the right kind of man. I think what they meant to be was aspirational, like let's be better.
Because the boys watching today
But they did it so badly.
will be the men of tomorrow.
It came off as opportunistic, like they were just trying to find a cause and, oh, this one will do.
What is unhelpful is flash in the pan type of activity. What you want to see is a brand or a business really believe in a cause and commit to supporting it over a period of time. Brands can really make a difference using the power that they have through their platforms and their resources, and use it to shift mindsets and address social challenges and call out injustice. And in doing that, brands can help issues move on a lot more quickly than they would have done without that kind of exposure.
Daniel Brindis agrees. He works at Greenpeace in charge of campaigning for forestry. Last year, a British supermarket chain, Iceland, approached the organisation wanting to use one of its campaign videos for an ad on the consequences of the farming of dirty palm oil, destroying natural habitats.
There's orangutan in my bedroom and I don't know what to do. She plays with all my teddies and keeps borrowing my shoe.
Greenpeace allowed Iceland to use the video, and while the UK regulator responsible for vetting ads banned it for allegedly breaking the rules of political advertising, it went viral and reignited discussions over the consequences of deforestation.
Why were you in my bedroom? I really want to know. There's a human in my forest, and I don't know what to do.
At Greenpeace, we often say no permanent friends, no permanent enemies. So if a company is doing the right thing and taking positive action that is genuine, deserves visibility and deserves praise. Greenpeace UK approached this with cynicism and with scrutiny, and the fact is that they felt like the actions on the part of Iceland represented a legitimate investment in trying to address the problem. They sent their CEO to go to Indonesia and see firsthand the scale of the problem with dirty palm oil production.
He took away my mother, and I'm scared.
When brands do get it right, they can prove a useful ally in the fight for social justice. And it's not bad for profits either. Following the ad, Iceland's sales rose and its brand perception amongst consumers improved significantly.
Calling a dream crazy is not an insult.
Similarly, a commercial produced by sports brand Nike, featuring NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick, who lost his job taking a stance on racial inequality, put the Black Lives Matter movement back in the spotlight.
So don't ask if your dreams are crazy. Ask if they're crazy enough.
And at the same time, the company saw its share price shoot up.
Nike's ad was the voice of someone actively engaged in the Black Lives Matter movement. That gave the ad a lot more authenticity, but still it's important to ask questions about businesses' broader practices and Nike's working conditions and the practices in Asia are something that still need to be questioned.
At the same time that Nike is coming out championing women athletes and saying they should stand up and, you know, growl and make noise.
So if they want to call you crazy, fine. Show them what crazy can do.
They have class action lawsuit for, you know, underpaying their female employees. We don't hear that. What we hear is all the marketing noise around the cause of championing women. As consumers, you don't have to, it's not your job to fully understand an issue, which means you may not be hearing the whole issue.
Everyone is different.
One measure of how far this trend in marketing has come, it's now reached a point of being satirized.
Imagine if a single bottle could be enjoyed by 2 people.
From the same bottle at the same time.
So we've got to drink from it together.
Together? Are you okay with that?
It's fine.
Oasis, the soft drink company, produced this ad and calls it refreshingly honest on what the true purpose of purpose marketing really is.
Harmony. Just a few billion sales away. Not in shops, doesn't fit on shelves.